UFC Fight Night, Derrek Lewis versus Tallison the Ogre Teixeira. We have the Black Beast versus the massive human being with a weird spider tattoo. It's taking place this weekend. I will be going over every single fight on the card, giving my predictions. Now to pause for a second, rewinding to UFC Teixeira versus Oliveira. I got every single prediction right on the card. Every single one, including Talbot. He really got to mount very well. I was not expecting that. I could go over every fight. I'm considering it. I did make a video, but the audio was messed up. But from now on, we're gonna try to make a fight recap. But every single pick correct, including round one, knockout predicted, knockouts, finishes. Alvin Hines lost, which I predicted. Anyways, moving on to the Black Beast versus Tallison Teixeira. Let's start this card off with a women's fight. We have Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. So the records are pretty similar. Fatima is taller. Now, if you look at the odds, they're absolutely absurd. That reason being, Fatima Klein is a good prospect here. She looks like, I think with women's MMA, is you find a girl who looks decent on the feet or decent on the ground, looks like they know what they're doing, and they make a run for it. They make a run for the top 15, top 10, top 5. Pretty sure thing. So I'm going to go with Fatima Klein. Now, is she going to get a submission or a decision? Not sure about that. I think maybe a decision. It's a women's fight, but her odds are so insane. I'm just going to go with Fatima Klein. I don't have much to say here. I would check the submission odds, maybe to sprinkle, but at the same time, it's a women's fight, so maybe her by decision is good value as well. I don't know too much about these fighters. Like, this card in general is going to be very hard to predict, in my opinion. I'm going to try my best, but not going to be putting the most money or anything on it. All right, well, moving along, we have Mitch Ramirez versus Mike Davis. Now, Mike Davis used to be so inactive. I remember one of the first bangers I ever watched was Mike Davis versus Sadiq Youssef. YouTube posted it. It was one of the first Contender Series fights, and they went to war. And, man, what happened to Sadiq Youssef, man? I guess he moved up in weight, but still, dude, used to be a lot better than he is now. That being said, Mitch Ramirez coming off of a loss via leg kicks, I believe. Who did he lose to again? I can't quite remember. It was no one good, though. It was someone coming off a bunch of losses. I can't believe I don't remember. I'm sorry, but I don't remember. He's a hard hitter. Oh, he also lost to Carlos Prates on the Contender Series. Prates, if you don't know, is my favorite fighter in the UFC currently. I love some Carlos Prates. But, yeah, so Ramirez got knocked out by a jab there. I don't think Mike Davis has the most power, even though he looks like he would. Dude is pretty jacked. He's usually super inactive, but he's bounced back recently. He lost his last fight to Faraz Ziam, where he was jumping guard in the first round. Looked tired. Still had Ziam's leg completely twisted up. I don't know how the dude didn't tap or is walking fine, but that's besides the point. What do I see happening in this fight? I can't get. Who did Ramirez lose? Whatever, it doesn't matter. He's all right. He's a power puncher. Both of his losses are against good fighters. I don't know how they have Mike Davis listed at 6 foot. And he's moving. No, he's not. All right, yeah, but still, I don't think he's quite 6 feet tall. These guys are probably the same height. However, I think Mike Davis is going to be locked in for this fight. I think the submission is possible here because he really has embraced his jiu-jitsu recently. So I think Mike Davis could get a submission here. He hopefully has better cardio, and he's hopefully not jumping guard. But I see him sort of plodding forward, getting a takedown here, pushing the pace. And if not a submission, just winning a decision via control time on Mitch Ramirez, just sitting in mount for a while, not in mount for a while, but sitting in full guard, maybe getting the back, getting a body triangle, going for submissions, maybe not getting one, going for them though, striking for one round where it's close, but Mike Davis is more athletic, more explosive. He's getting up there in age, so I think he really wants to make a run for it. This dude we were calling for a top 15 fight for because he was on a win streak. Ziam's a tough test. I actually picked him against Ziam. He didn't look like the normal Mike Davis. If he comes back and looks like the normal Mike Davis, this is a no-brainer. And I think he will more likely do that than not. Okay, moving on to the next fight. Oh, we have Walter Walker versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. So Kennedy moved up from light heavyweight, and they gave him 2 absolute bots to knock out in the first round, which, I mean, he did. He was a lot bigger. He was fighting shorter heavyweights. This is a different story. We have a 270-plus pound, 6'6" monster of a man, Walter Walker, who shaved his mustache and added an OV to the end of his name recently. So I think, hear me out, I think we're going to see Walker wrestle against Kennedy. Now, Kennedy probably can get back up and start to put it on Walker, and I see him doing that maybe in the second and third round. I got to go with an underdog, though, so I'm going to go... Wow, look at the reach difference. I'm going to go with Walter Walker. I think he's going to take Kennedy down. Ah, man, I don't really like my prediction, but I'm going to go with Walter Walker here. 13-1. He looked like a slob in that one loss, and he really has gotten himself back into shape. He's winning fights, not like destroying people, but pretty convincingly winning rounds. I think he can do that against Kennedy. Kennedy hasn't fought any good heavyweights at all. I mean, Lucas Brzezinski and, Chris Barnett. Yeah, dude. I mean, you're supposed to knock those guys out in the first round. Look at Walter. Looks mean, hungry. I think Walter Walker is a good underdog pick here. He's not the worst on the feet. He's taller, too, which helps. I think him being taller, like 6'6", it's going to help him avoid what Kennedy can do with his power and length on the outside, which is what he did to Brzezinski and Chris Barnett. And I don't think he'll be able to do that. And if Walter can implement some grappling, late first round, second round, third round, he could walk away with a decision here. Kennedy can gas out. I know he knocked out Carlos Ulberg, but Kennedy can gas out here, especially if he's being clinched and wrestled. Maybe it'll look something like the Saltibayev versus Martin Budai fight. I think that's a good way to look at it, where we have a light heavyweight who's pretty big, 235. He might be even more now. But if he becomes heavier, I don't know if his frame is meant for that. You know, he's pretty short torso, long arms. So he's not supposed to weigh too much, like a John Jones situation going on. That being said, plus 170 for Walter, sorry. So I'm going to go with Walter here with the beard and the length and the reach. I think he's going to press him up against the cage, hold him there for a while, get some boozed, maybe take him down, and win a 29-28 decision. Moving up the card, we have Eduarda, Ronda Rousey 2.0, Mora, and Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy needs to, I don't know how old she is. I think she's 40 at this point, right? She looks like she did, crystal meth or something, to be honest with you. Like, she's missing her teeth. I don't know what's going on there. Is she missing her teeth? I think she might be. Regardless, she's wearing a mouth guard. Eduardo Mora, 11-1. She's a good prospect, and she's big. This girl is massive. Or maybe it was just the last fight, because I do remember her last fight was against Veronica Hardy, who I like Veronica Hardy. I think Veronica Hardy's pretty good. But Veronica Hardy looked tiny in there compared to Eduardo Mora. Tiny. She fought, but Mora just every single round on the feet, too, looked really good. And she's not really known. She's known more for her grappling, but on the feet, she looked absolutely amazing. On the ground, she looked amazing. She's able to hold top control, and I think she sort of wipes the floor with Lauren Murphy here. Unless Murphy sort of mounts a comeback in the third round with cardio, I'm going to go with Mora. Mora has shorter hair. She looks bad. She's just bigger. I couldn't believe how big she was last time. Maybe Veronica Hardy is a small women's fighter, which she might be, but still, this girl looked twice her size. So I'm going to go with her. Maybe by decision. Honestly, Lauren Murphy's pretty tough. She's been around for a while. She could probably hold on. Maybe TKO. I don't know. I'm going to go decision. Moving up. This one's hard. Jake Matthews. I like both these guys. I've been a huge Jake Matthews guy recently. And Chitty, too. Chitty, I thought, was falling off. But he really, really proved me wrong in his last fight against Oleski Dos Santos. I don't even think Dos Santos hit him like one time clean. I'm pretty sure Chitty just worked the body, worked the tee, worked the oblique kick, all that stuff just from range and just clinch. Oh my God, the clinch. Destroyed him. It was amazing to watch. He completely destroyed him. And that was after, like, Dos Santos had been showing that he still got it. That capoeira style was still working for him. But no, Chidi puts him away very, very easily. Took no damage and just completely dominated. It was a masterclass. A masterclass. Now, on the other side, Jake Matthews has just always been not mediocre, but if all his stat sliders for Jake Matthews are in the middle, for every single thing in the middle. Recently, his head movement has gotten a lot better, but he hasn't been fighting good fighters. And that's where I finally made my decision on this fight, is I was like, oh, Jake Matthews, his head movement. No, he's the same height as Dos Santos. He's younger and faster. Don't think he has as much power. But Chidi seems to love fighting these shorter guys, especially at 170. I mean, RoboCop versus Chidi was all time, but Chidi seems to struggle with fighters that are his height. Even Reese McKee, who I've been waiting for to get a win. But yeah, even Reese McKee, it feels like Chidi struggles a little bit more with fighters who are his height or taller or have a similar reach, where they can sort of use his tools against him. Someone like Jake Matthews is the exact opposite. He's middle of the road for every single thing he does in the UFC. So I see Chidi doing the same sort of thing as he did to Dos Santos. I'm going to go with Chidi by knockout. No, Jake Matthews has a good chin. I'm still going to go Chidi by knockout. I don't think Jake Matthews is going to be able to wrestle as much as he wants to here, even though I think he should probably try to go for wrestling if he's going to win this fight. But I don't think he'll be able to. I think Chidi maybe round 3, knockout. I'm going to go with Chidi. I think in the clinch at range, Jake Matthews' head movement has been good, but it's like he's been fighting fighters who aren't that good, and this is not one of those guys. So I'm going to go with Chidi. Look at the reach difference. 7-inch reach. Yeah, Chidi. Chidi via knockout or decision. Up next, we have Chris Curtis. Look at Chris Curtis as a Robot Tekka character. Look at that. Versus Max Griffin. Max the Pain Griffin. This guy, I don't even know. It feels like he just fought Neil Magny. His fights just come and go. I don't know if he won his last fight. Oh, lost. Okay, so we lost his last fight. I forget who it was against. And Chris Curtis also lost his last fight. Chris Curtis is moving down, so this is at 170. He's going to be way thicker than Max Griffin. I think he's going to have a better chin than Max Griffin. He's not going to throw more kicks, but Max Griffin doesn't really throw any kicks either. 1-inch height. When Chris Curtis is at 170, he's pretty damn good. I mean, this dude went toe-to-toe with a bunch of big 185ers and was doing fine. He just never really cut a ton of weight. Training with Sean Strickland, who could easily act as a much bigger, better Max Griffin. Sparring here. 31-12 is a good record. I'm going to 100% go with Chris Curtis here. He's going to use that body work. He's going to use that Philly shell. And he is going to, I think, rip apart Max Griffin pretty easily. 30-27. Maybe Max Griffin wins the first round. I know Chris Curtis starts slow sometimes. I could see him getting a knockout. Damn well know he's not getting a submission. But Max Griffin is a vet. He's proven himself to be tough. It's possible. I'm definitely going to go with Curtis here. I think Curtis damage-wise, too. Curtis does not show damage. He just dishes it. He just eats. He eats shots, and he just throws to the body really well. Those body shots against the cage. Max Griffin, I don't know. I think Chris Curtis is going to win this via probably decision, just outpointing, landing the bigger blows at the end of exchanges. I think Chris Curtis is going to win this fight via decision. They don't really have much of a reach. But yeah, I like Chris Curtis at 170 is good. He's thick, strong. I don't think he really cuts too much weight. It's where he's supposed to be. He probably cuts weight, but compared to where he was at 185, 15-pound difference too, and he's hanging and banging with guys at 185. I think this is pretty much a lock to me. Chris Curtis is going to take him out. He hasn't fought in a while, too. He's probably really fresh. And Max Griffin is just, I don't know, just shouldn't really be in the UFC, but that's fine. All right, moving up the card. What am I going to do here? We have Tuku Tokos versus Junior Tafa. Everyone was loving Junior Tafa because his brother, he did have that one nice knockout, but he's overrated. He's slow and overrated. Tukos actually has a good build for heavyweight, but he's terrible. that being said, he's really only fought good fighters, and he's moving up. No, Tafa's moving down. I was about to say, wait a minute. Okay, Tafa's moving down in weight to fight Tuco Tokos. I'm going to go with Tuco Tokos here. If you're going to go with Tafa, please do knockout, all right? I don't think he's going to win a tit-for-tat battle. Now, Tokos has only lost to Navajo Sterling recently, and Umar Sassi, who's not that good after his last performance. I'm going to go with Tuco Tokos here. I think he wins a decision. I don't think anyone gets knocked out. It's going to be boring for a light heavyweight fight. Low output. Tokos with his leg kicks. Probably no clinch work. Maybe a little bit. Teeping at the body. Stuff like that. I think Tukos is going to come out on top. I'm very not confident. I'm going to go with Tuco Tokos to beat Junior Tafa. Decision. Not confident. This is like my least confident pick, I think, on the card. Whatever. I think Tafa is shorter than 6'3", too. I don't know. I don't think he's 6'3". That's fine. Good. I mean, this is also hard because how is Tafa going to look cutting to 205? That is something we don't really know yet. I don't think his body carries weight. So what is he going to look like? Is he going to gas out quickly? Is he going to drop power cutting weight? Because these Samoans, man, they need weight to throw around. I feel like it just helps them. It's the way their bodies are built. They just need weight, especially around this area down below the belly button. They always are just have a little bit of extra weight going on there. Helps with power, keeping their feet steady. They usually don't lose cardio, but maybe that'll affect him. I'm banking on it because I'm going with Tuco Tokos, and then they'll never be able to put Tafa in a main card, main slot pay-per-view again, which they're not. That's ridiculous. They keep throwing the Tafas up in there. They should imagine if they made the Tafas fight each other. Hey, if one of them's getting kicked out of the UFC, sign that contract, twice the money, fight Tafa versus Tafa. That's some fights I want to see right there. It's Tafa versus Tafa. Moving up, by the way, I'm going with Tuco Tokos, not confident. Decision. Moving up the card, Vitor Petrina versus Austin Bilal Muhammad's big brother, Lane. Dude looks exactly like Bilal. Maybe the nose is really doing it. But yeah, he's huge. This guy, Austin Lane, is massive. Like, he was a professional football player. 6'6". Pretty lean. What is wrong? I don't understand what's wrong. This dude has the body to be the champ. Pause. But still, I mean, 6'6", lean, jacked, should be quicker twitch. You know, he has the high calf muscles and whatnot. But I don't think his skill is good. He resorted to wrestling recently. His hands, he doesn't have a ton of power. His head movement is terrible. It just looks like this guy should be so much better than he is. It looks like he should be so much better. When it comes to Vitor Petrino, this guy has let every person's parlay die in a fire in his last fight. When he got knocked out by Dustin Jacoby, mirror image knockout from Usman versus Masvidal, by the way. But yeah, he got flatlined with a 2, just right down. He just didn't see it coming. He was winning. I think he was winning 2-0 in the fight against Jacoby, and Jacoby's been really good. So I'm not gonna fault him for that. The Anthony Smith submission was complete shit. Other than that, he's been good. He uses his size well. He's moving up to heavyweight, and that's the question. He's only 6'2". Only is crazy to say, but he is. He's only 6'2". They have him listed at 225. He'll probably be more than that if he knew he was going to heavyweight. I'd say 235. This is very scary. If you look at the odds, I'm not touching minus 750. Are you kidding me? He's going to be smaller. Will his power carry up? It'll probably carry up. I mean, Tafa knocked out Lane. I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino for knockout, but I'm worried because Austin Lane is a lot bigger, and he's not a fat heavyweight. He may be slow, but he's not, your run-to-the-mill, bottom-of-the-barrel heavyweight. He can't be with the size and the build that he has. He can't be. I refuse. Even if his fighting skills are worse, he's a big dude. I'm going to go with Petrino by knockout. Maybe first round, maybe second. He's been playing it safe recently, but Petrino has to lock in here. I think he will. I thought this guy was an absolute lab animal when he first joined the UFC. Him and Jailton Almeida, those two. I was like, who are these animals? Like, they're building these dudes in a lab. It doesn't make sense. So this guy's got to lock in. He's making himself look bad. I thought he was well on his way to top 15 status when he entered the UFC. And he was. And then fluke win for Anthony Smith. This guy's an idiot for sticking his head in. And then gets knocked out versus Jacoby after he was winning most of the fight. Maybe he was struggling with the weight cut. He did get flatlined. I didn't think his chin was... I thought his chin would hold up to something like that, but he really didn't see it coming. So I can't fault him. But I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino for a first or second round knockout. Lane's head movement's terrible. This is a light heavyweight, which we saw Ryan Spann get. Yeah, but Ryan Spann is... I don't even know what he was doing. I can't compare him to Ryan Spann. I can't compare him to Nzechukwu. I think he's a little bit better. I think he's going to knock out Austin Lane. I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino, first round, second round knockout over this guy, Austin Lane, who's put himself in a position to have a decent UFC career. If you get to 6 or 7 fights, you have to at least be proud of that. He's getting there, whether or not he's winning in a boring fashion or not. He got finished by Greg Hardy. This guy's done. I think Petrino is 100% going to win. Knockout. All right, moving up the card. Morgan, the last pirate, or the pirate. Charrier versus Nate the Train. I love Nate the Train. I'm going with Charrier, though. He's younger. Same height. This one's hard to pick because Nate the Train is a dog. However, I think Nate the Train's wins are a little bit flukish in the way that he gets damage, and then sort of overcomes. I know he had a couple of wins where he's dominated, but some of his wins, it's like, man, it's Oliveira versus Topuria versus Oliveira versus Gaethje. You know, so you get knocked down, hurt. People expect you to come back, and then until you can't. And in his last fight, Landwehr could not come back from all the... Like, he was taking damage. It was sort of similar to something like that of Oliveira, who's getting dropped and then coming back. No, I think Landwehr is not coming back, and I think Morgan Charrier is going to knock him out. No, I can't say that with this. Morgan Charrier is going to win. Morgan Charrier is going to knock him down at least once. Landwehr is going to fight back, but Morgan is going to be good enough to keep Nate off of him, win at least 2 rounds. Nate the Train's going to be bloodied up. Charrier is pretty strong and pretty big dude for that division. Wrestling defense is pretty good too. I don't think anyone's going to wrestle offensively. Nate the Train's wrestling defense is amazing. He's fought a bunch of Russians on his way to the promotion. I'm going to go with Morgan. He's younger. I wouldn't say he's hungrier, but I think he's physically more enabled to win this fight against Nate. I would love to see Nate win. Nate could mount a comeback at any moment. But I think this guy Morgan is going to win this fight on the scorecards. Probably. He's going to get a knockdown, I think. 29-28. Landwehr steps it up in the 3rd round or starts off hot. One of those two. Going with Morgan Charrier. This one is interesting. This dude, Steve Garcia, no one thought he would be this good. He turned out to be this good. I think he's on the 2nd or 1st, maybe after Tom Aspinall, finish streak or knockout streak. Maybe Topuria's up there too now. Yes, I think he's 4 knockouts or 5 knockouts in a row, which is crazy. Starting with Chase Hooper. Did it start with Chase Hooper? It may have. Which I picked Chase Hooper, of course. Yeah, this Garcia guy has he's like Diddy Kong or something. His arms are just long and he swings them around and he looks so sloppy and he connects and just clips people, knocks them out, stuns them. His striking is very unorthodox. His head movement isn't the best. His pressure is crazy good. His power is crazy good. He's tall for the weight class. Great stamina. I mean, he hasn't really had to use it, but I think he just looks like an Arosa. Someone like that, just who will have stamina. I feel like this guy could go 5 at any moment's notice. I think Steve Garcia could do 5. I think someone's going to get him. Cater in his prime would get him. Cater right now, if you look at his fights, is not going to get him. He gives up. He has a great chin. Not getting finished, but he's getting dominated, and his output is just low. If he falls behind early, his output is low. And I think Steve Garcia cracks him in the 1st round, 2nd round, and puts Calvin Cater away. Going to be the first one to finish him. Steve Garcia is going to finish Calvin Kattar via knockout. If it doesn't happen early, it's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to say F it. I'm going to do first round or second round. Steve Garcia gets a knockout win. Calvin Kattar retires. Garcia gets himself into the rankings here. Dude is on a streak and a half. I want to see what he does. I never thought he would be that good. He looked so sloppy in some of his first UFC fights and then just turned it on like no one was watching. It was crazy. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Steve Garcia there. Calvin Kattar's way over the hump. Steep fall off. Fighting really good guys, but I don't know. He was losing to Shane Burgos, too, before finishing him. He could finish Steve Garcia. I think this fight ends in a knockout. It's another good pick. I think this fight ends in a knockout. He could finish Steve Garcia. Calvin Kattar has amazing hands. But I think Garcia is going to be the one to crack his chin. Garcia is going to knock him out. We are moving on. The odds are pretty even, so we'll see what happens. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who is now officially the oldest member of the UFC. 17-8. One of my favorite fighters ever to watch, but if you look at that body, it's starting to look old. I think he's 40-something. I forget exactly how old he is. I think he's the oldest fighter in the UFC. I saw an interview. He was talking recently about how he wanted to be the oldest fighter ever. He wanted to beat, I think it was Randy Couture's record. I think he could do it. They didn't give him a nice matchup, though, as he's fighting 17-1 Gabriel Bonfim. I don't know. I think Bonfim, he did lose to Nicholas Dalby, gassed himself out. But other than that, he's looked good. He's got what he needed to get done. If Gilbert Burns can take down Stephen Thompson, give him hell. If Bilal can do it, I think Bonfim can do it. I would not stand and bang with Stephen Thompson, although Bonfim's boxing is very good. He's taller. There's no way. He's taller, too. He's going to be much stronger and bigger. I think he clinches Stephen Thompson up, takes him to the ground. Submission is viable, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a decision, a boring decision, sort of like a Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson. I think it's going to be a similar fight to that, or a Bilal Muhammad versus Stephen Thompson. I think Gabriel Bonfim. I think it's going to be similar to that. So I have Bonfim winning via decision, 30-27 probably. Maybe 129-28 if Stephen Thompson gets up in the third and hits him with a body kick or whatever he's going to do. He might get some damage off and win the third round. Overall, though, I'm going to go with Mr. Bonfim here, submission or decision. And finally, moving up to the main event of the evening, we have Derrek the Black Beast, my dad's favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters, Lewis versus Tallison Teixeira. It just looks like he's the same length for his hips up here. He's a very interesting build. He's like a fridge build, but he's skinny at the same time. And his little pecs, I don't know. But he's big as heck. What is he, 6'7"? Yeah, he's 6'7". And he's all of 6'7". He's not lying about his height. He is big. Knocked out the other Tafa in the first round of his last fight. Nasty elbow that destroyed Tafa's nose. When I picked him to win that, people were picking the other guy. Because in his Contender Series fight, we did 100% see that he was able to get hit, but he also had a chin. He took those other shots well from that guy, and he might need to take one from Derrek Lewis. Can he or can he not is the question. If he can take a couple, he's going to win. If he can't, he's going to lose. Very easy to say, right? Derrek Lewis, only chance to win is by knockout. Tallison Teixeira does have some wrestling, and I was thinking I was going to go with Derrek Lewis this whole time, but I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go with Tallison Teixeira, first or second round knockout. Derrek Lewis is known to give up, cover up, and I think he's going to do that here. I think Tallison cracks him early and doesn't let up, and Derrek Lewis starts to look for a way out. Tallison hits him, backs up. Derrek Lewis swings a couple times, big shots. Tallison, if he can avoid those, get Derrek Lewis a tiny bit tired. Derrek Lewis doesn't want a 5-rounder. He signed a new contract. Let's get the heavyweight division moving here. Let's get a Tallison Teixeira up there, especially if this dude can do a little bit of wrestling. Who knows? It might be you don't need much to now be a top 5 heavyweight. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Tallison Teixeira, early knockout. It's probably not going to be a flat line. It's going to be Derrek Lewis faking getting hurt. Not faking it, but you know how the Derrek Lewis fights go, win or lose. Win or lose, it's going to be over in 2 rounds. I'm pretty sure of it. Tallison may revert to a little bit of wrestling, which worries me if he can't knock out Lewis. And I don't think that'll go well. Lewis is good defending on the ground and might gas out Tallison. So hopefully Tallison gets him. Or not. I want Derrek Lewis to win, honestly. I like him much more. But I want the division to get moving. I'm going to go with Tallison Teixeira. Oh, the odds are swinging. I'm going to go with Tallison Teixeira knockout. I think that he'll get it done. I think Derrek Lewis doesn't really care that much if he wins or not. Like, if he sees the opportunity to win, he'll strike. But if he doesn't, he won't. So I'm going to go with, Tallison Teixeira knockout. So to change topics for a brief moment, my cousin Colby is in the fight of his life. He's going to be fighting harder than any of the fighters on Ufc Nashville or any of these cards, as he is battling cancer and is going in for procedures soon. Really thinking about Colby, praying for Colby every night. He's going to be watching this video. I'm not sure of how big of a fight fan he is, but hopefully we can help him out and entertain him here with a couple of these picks. I'm thinking about you, Colby. Go get him. Reach out to me if you have any questions about any other fight picks or anything along those lines, and I'll be praying for you. All right, with that being said, these are my picks for UFC Nashville. Don't think I'm going to go perfect again, but maybe we do. I'm already reconsidering some of my picks, but I'll update if I really, really want to change anything. For now, thank you for tuning in to Official AK MMA. We're going to be coming with a lot more videos soon. This is just the beginning. I'm signing off. Good luck with your predictions. Let me know how I did in the comment section below. Let me know if you disagree with any of my picks and why. Give me some reasons. And I wouldn't be mad to see the Black Beast win, but I don't think he's going to do it.